So we talked yesterday on the show about Kanye West's insanely anti-Semitic rant, both his text message to P. Diddy and his tweet that got him taken off Twitter. And we already showed you the Attorney General of Indiana, as well as Fox and Friends, kind of sort of defending him or covering for him in a way, and how bizarre that was. Well, Tucker Carlson comes out after all this news is broke and does this weird thing where he doesn't necessarily put the attention on the anti-Semitic stuff, but still decides to bring on Candace Owens and bring on this other guest to talk about how Kanye West is so persecuted and kind of promote him in a positive light, which was very strange. So here's the first moment from his show, and then we'll take a look at another.
Candace Owens is the host of the podcast Candace, and she joins us tonight. Candace, thanks so much for coming on. So why did you do that? You did it together. And what do you think of the response? Why can't you do that?
Oh, and that they're talking about is Candace Owens and Kanye West, as you'll see, a photo's about to pop up, wearing the White Lives Matter shirts.
Well, I just want to say it was one of the only weeks that I missed doing your show. And the only reason I would miss doing your show, Tucker, is because I knew that there was a cultural moment that would be so significant as this was. You know, I did it because Kanye called me and he said that he needed me to be there at the show and he needed me to be a part of the show. And when he told me what he had in mind and wearing these T-shirts, which, by the way, he told me the day of, I instantly understood what he was trying to do and what the artistic expression was. What it offered was a stunning commentary on the hypocrisy of the society that we live in. For years, we were told that Black Lives Matter was not an exclusionary phrase. We were told that it's just what we're saying. We're not trying to leave white people out, right? We're just saying this because this is a moment that Black Americans need to have in this country. They were totally fine when Asian Lives Matter became a slogan as well. Asians, by the way, are doing better in this country economically than white Americans. They're more successful in education as well. And they're more likely to get credit cards, as just one example. And yet, despite all of that, it was okay to say Asian Lives Matter. We put on a T-shirt to actually do something that was inclusive, to say, actually, white Americans, you are allowed to be a part of this too, because literally all lives matter. And in fact, no lives have been mattering. Black Americans are suffering as a result because of Black Lives Matter. We know that their neighborhoods have been rioted in inner city communities, and the businesses are moving out of there.
First, I guess it doesn't, y'all already know why what they're saying is pretty dumb. But I just don't really care that much about when they do the big political stunts, covering them a bunch. Oh, they wore White Lives Matter. Yeah, well, they wanted us to freak out, and it's just, whatever. But just to quickly explain why it's different to say White Lives Matter than Black Lives Matter is context. And pretending like context doesn't matter is an easy way to make dishonest points that seem to be honest. And so Black Lives Matter obviously was created in a response to what they were trying to uplift the national conversation as the reality that many people don't treat Black people like they matter, and many systems don't treat Black people like they matter. And so it's saying Black Lives Matter. And within the phrase, it's supposed to highlight, wait, why are we just saying Black Lives Matter when of course everyone should agree all lives matter? But why are we just saying that? Because we're trying to highlight that this group has not been treated like they mattered by American society, and that needs to be discussed. And so then when you're saying White Lives Matter, well, all of the historical context and the systems in place have already treated white people like they mattered, and at least treated them like they matter compared to other groups. I do think all people in ways aren't treated like they matter by certain flaws in our general systems, and that's a true point to make. But as far as the comparison between different groups, you do have to understand that there's a difference there. And so you're just trying to take away the attention from a call to action from a particular movement. Now, of course, White Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter, etc., Hispanic Lives Matter, etc., on and on we go. That's not really the point of the statement, is not exclusionary when you're talking about, again, the context. And yes, all lives matter, of course, is true as well. And then here is, again, Tucker Carlson bringing on someone else to talk about Kanye West and the way the left just absolutely can't handle him because he's speaking too much of his independent thoughts.
It scares the heck out of the left to see someone like Kanye West, that popular, that influential, his skin color, that has those Christian values, because that's what's really under attack, his Christian values. It scares them. They don't want him to survive. They're using him. I'm going to make an analogy. Kunta Kinte and Roots. They got him out on a tree and they're whipping him. What's your name? And they want him to say left-wing liberal, and he won't say it. He keeps saying, I like Trump. I like God. I'm a Christian. And they keep whipping and slashing him, and they're trying to make this man bow down to the liberal orthodoxy, and they're doing it as a message to me and everybody else. If you don't get in line with what we want you to think, every black man, every heterosexual black man, every black man with Christian values, we will beat you into a pulp.
So, very off metaphor there about Kanye West being whipped by the left is the comparison he's making, or an analogy. No, I don't care if he says he's on the left or not. I care that he was being anti-Semitic. What are we talking about? The other thing I feel like the right really misunderstands is the difference between people not liking you, which is fair. We're not obligated to like you, and people canceling you or oppressing you or persecuting you. Because if you say stuff that I find to be even just politically not pleasing, then there's a better chance I'm not going to like you that much. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm trying to persecute or cancel you. Now, of course, there are people that are politically different that are perfectly great in my personal life, all those types of things. But I'm just saying that it's common that people won't like each other just because you're too different on too many things. And that's okay. And so for people on the left to say we don't like Kanye West because of X, Y, and Z is fair. And then you enter the anti-Semitic stuff and it's even more clear. Okay, I don't really like people who have hate in their hearts, deep-seated clearly for groups based on immutable characteristics. And so they don't get that on the right. And for some reason it's, Kanye's being canceled. And then you talk specifically about the anti-Semitic stuff, and he just clearly violated the terms of service. So it's not a big oppression by big tech. Sorry, you went on someone's platform or an entity's platform and clearly broke the rules. You're going to get kicked off, as he should have been. So really bizarre stuff there. Tucker Carlson trying to do everything he can do to not really address the anti-Semitic stuff, but instead focus on how much of a brave warrior Kanye West is.